Hi guys, Sam here, and today I just wanted to jump on and talk to you about how to finance an auction property purchase, and I've got 5 tips for you on how to do that. So I'm just going to quickly summarize those 5 tips and then we'll go into them in a little bit more detail. So number 1 is what I call the bridging triangle. Okay, so this is what I talk a lot to my clients about, which is the 3 sides of a triangle, which are speed, flexibility, and price. So we'll go into that in a little bit more detail in a moment. Number two is surveyors. Something that's very, very important, something that you need to be aware of when buying at auction. Number 3 is solicitors. Again, I always say solicitors and surveyors, the 2 S's, are 2 of the most important things when buying at auction, or if you want any kind of speed in your transaction anyway. Number 4 is indemnity insurance, and I'll talk to you about why having indemnity insurance helps and what it does. And number 5 is to be prepared, and we're going to talk about all the things you can do pre-auction to get yourself absolutely ready to do that. So, number 1, the bridging triangle. As I mentioned to you before, the bridging triangle is speed on one corner, flexibility on another corner, and price on another corner. And it's very, very unlikely that you are going to get all 3 of those in one bundle when you're getting finance for auction. And when we're talking about auction finance, we're pretty much talking bridging, guys, just so that you're aware. So the bridging triangle, speed, flexibility, price. What are the most important and how do they fit in order when we're buying at auction? Now, number 1, the most important thing is going to be speed. We need a lender who is going to be able to do these things at speed. So we're talking about being able to complete the deal from start to finish in 20 working days. It's not 28 days because very few people during this transaction are going to be working over the weekend. So it's 20 working days. Speed is our number 1 priority on this. So out of the other 2, flexibility and price, which one comes next? Now, flexibility is the next most important part of the triangle. We are going to need lenders to be able to do certain things in order to facilitate these deals as quickly as possible. Instructing valuations early, getting through underwriting quickly, being able to instruct solicitors very, very early, being able to take out indemnity insurance, which we'll cover on point number 4. These are the things that we need lenders to be able to do in order to facilitate getting this deal done in the 20 working days that we're going to have to do it. So that's the triangle, and we need to understand that. I didn't mention actually about price. This is one of the big things. People get very, very hung up. Borrowers get very, very hung up on the price of things. Now, if you're borrowing for 0.5% per month, or 1% per month, or 1.5% per month, it really makes no difference whatsoever if it's not going to get done in time, and if the lender cannot facilitate getting the job done in the first place. So that is why speed is always number 1 and flexibility is always number 2. And of course, out of the lenders that can provide those other 2, we are going to go with the cheapest. So that's point number 1 in my 5 tips for getting finance for auction properties. Number 2 is surveys. Now, this is, especially at the moment, a really big sort of contentious issue. Post-lockdown, we are seeing a bit of a backlog when it comes to surveys. Not all surveyors are going back out just yet to do physical surveys, and they're taking a bit longer to get done because of all the health and safety measures that need to be put in place. But even in normal times, we cannot be reliant on surveyors to do things in the normal timeline that they see fit to do things. So, and this sounds very, very underhanded when I say it. It sounds very old school, very kind of Wild West. But I promise you, this is just something that you might just have to do, is pay a little bit more to get up the priority list with surveyors. That might mean paying 10% more than what you would normally pay, maybe 20% more. Effectively, what you're doing is you're asking a surveyor to work extra hours and go and do another survey during the day, or maybe early on in the morning or something like that, outside of maybe their normal hours, possibly even at a weekend, who knows. I've seen them do all sorts of those sort of things. It's just to get that instruction in and booked in and actually taken place as quickly as we possibly can. So getting that survey done as soon as possible, get it instructed day one as well, by the way, is really, really important. But you know, we'll talk about being prepared in a minute, but having quotes and having a timeline sort of set up ready for when the surveyor can actually go in and do the survey is going to be very, very important to get done even before the auction takes place. So that's tip number 2, is all about surveyors and surveys. Point number 3 is another S, solicitors. This is so important. Maybe this should have been number 1 because that's how important this is. I cannot stress enough as a broker how tough it is to try and complete a bridging transaction with an inexperienced solicitor. And when I say that, it's not me being condescending. There are some amazing solicitors out there that have no experience of bridging, but we're not going to use them for these transactions. They're going to be the people that maybe we use for our remortgages because they might be a bit cheaper and they're just used to sort of churning out high volume, very, very quick, slick processes. What we need is somebody that knows the bridging market inside out. We are going to need a commercial solicitor, somebody that's worked with these bridges before, someone who's going to be proactive instead of reactive. They are the most important things we need to do. Now, they're going to cost more money, but that's just the way that it is. We just have to accept that and move on. Unfortunately, these these lenders, these solicitors that have a bit more of a specialization are just going to cost a little bit more, I'm afraid. So that is number 3. That's tip number 3. Make sure you instruct a good, experienced solicitor. Now, point number 4 is indemnity insurance. Now, this kind of follows on from the solicitors, and it also follows on from the flexibility that we need when looking at the bridging triangle from our lenders. Some lenders will be able to take out an indemnity insurance policy, meaning that they are happy to complete on the purchase without the requirement for all of the legal searches that most lenders will usually require. Now, this is a risk, okay? I am not recommending that everyone does this. I am recommending that it's something that you look into and you consider and you have a discussion with your solicitor to see whether it's something that's going to be viable. Purchasing a property without searches, obviously, as I said, carries a risk, but it can save us 2 to 3 weeks worth of legal work if we take this out. And usually from a lender perspective, in terms of choosing lenders, it's not really going to cost us any more money in order to do that. There might be a small fee or an increase, a tiny increase in rate in order to make this adjustment. But using a lender that's flexible enough that can take out these indemnity insurance policies against searches means we don't have to do the searches, and it means we can complete quicker. As I said, I'm not saying you should do it, I'm saying you can do it. And it is my 4th tip for completing a auction purchase using bridging finance. And to finish everything up, to wrap everything up, number 5, which is be prepared, which means basically before the auction even takes place, have your lender or lenders, maybe it's okay to have 1 or 2 as a plan A and a plan B, lined up. Have all of your documents ready and sent in already sent into the lender, or already ready to be sent into the lender, which would be application forms, direct debit mandates, proof of funds. It might be, if you're doing work to a property, a schedule of works, proof of the funds that you've got to complete the works, details of your builder or contractor, a property CV on yourself and your business partner if you have one, or JV partner if you have one, a development appraisal if you're going to be doing significant work to the property to uplift the value. All of these things have ready, even really simple stuff like ID and proof of address. Every lender's going to want them. An assets and liabilities form is another. All of these documents, get them ready and prepared before you go to auction, because this is going to save you time at the beginning, because what you don't want to be doing is spending the first 2 to 3 days of your 20 working days to turn this around going back and forth with a lender, asking them what documents they want. We want to have them already ready so that we can get ahead of the game and we can get our solicitors and valuers instructed day 1. So, they were very quick 5 top tips for getting finance for your auction purchase. Now, I hope that was really helpful for you. I do a lot of these sorts of videos on my YouTube channel, so please do go along and subscribe. The address is youtube.com/Sam Norris, the Property Investors Broker. Hope to see you over there soon. Cheers, guys.